Hey, it's the Scotch Test Dummies. We got Wild Turkey Forgiven. It's Whiskey Wednesday.
Boom, we're bringing you a brand new segment with American whiskeys. More on that in a bit.
Let's test it.
Test it. Abe Lincoln. All right, we've got a brand new segment. We're calling America's Whiskey Wednesday. America's because we're going to do both Canadian and American whiskeys.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we're going to do that on Wednesdays, and we're going to do our best to get a segment out every Wednesday. We're going to stick with
Like the North American.
Yeah, it could be North American Whiskey Wednesday, but that was like a mouthful, so I just called it America's Whiskey Wednesday.
That's going to confuse some people. I'm just telling you.
It'll confuse those.
Like why they doing a Canadian? It's America's whiskey.
America's. Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
Well,
there's some dumb people out there.
Nobody watching's dumb. You guys are geniuses. We are the dummies. We may call it North American. No, that's a mouthful, though. Whiskey Wednesday.
No, it's America's whiskey.
America's, but for
you dumb people, that also includes Canada.
No. It sounded like you called Canadian people dumb there.
No, for the dumb American people that are going to be confused that we're doing Canadians.
You know, it could technically also be Mexican. Is there any Mexican whiskey?
Dumb people.
You do?
No, I don't know any Mexican whiskey.
If there's a Mexican whiskey, that would fit as well, because we're doing this in North America.
All right.
North American whiskeys are going to be on Wednesday.
On America's whiskey.
Yes. Boom. We just did it. We created it. And here's the reason why. We were starting to get a backlog. We're actually starting to get episodes filmed quicker than we can get them released.
Yeah.
And we also don't know as much about bourbon. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Yeah. I mean, so we've worked in a few ryes. We've worked in a few micro distillers with Tin Cup and Stranahans. And I think you were in the liquor store and got forgiven and said, we're kind of ignoring our backyard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I agreed.
Real quick, though, for those that are new, we are the Scotch Test Dummies, and what you just witnessed is us bantering back and forth a little bit, and that's what we want to bring to you.
Right. It's like you're literally joining us at the table. We're going to be doing a review of a bottle of bourbon, scotch, some type of whiskey, and you're here with us, and that's what we're bringing to you. We're conveying to you. What you see is what you get. All right, I wear shirts that are a little too small for me because I'm a big Yeti.
Stand up.
He wants me to stand up because my Pooh
And
Bear.
then reach up there and adjust that light.
Now this shirt doesn't quite fit, as you've seen, but it had Abe Lincoln on it. I thank you, appreciate it. He never, I can mock myself. It has Abe Lincoln with a boombox, and it says "Drop beats, not bombs."
That
Abe
is a
Lincoln.
great shirt.
Okay, I love this shirt.
But that would fit me.
It would fit you, but he didn't want to buy it. I'm like, I'm wearing it. It'll stretch. It'll stretch out, and maybe I'll give it to him or my son. All right, so that's what you get. It's as if you're joining us. If you ever if you ever meet up with us at a tasting somewhere, because we do some tastings sometimes, what you see here is what you're going to get there. So that's what we're trying to bring you. Now we're used to saying ABV, which is alcohol by volume, but in America it's always proof.
Well, 91 proof, 45.5% alcohol.
They've got the ABV on there. All right, give the story of Forgiven.
Okay, now this is unverified, but probably what happened in the Wild Turkey Distillery.
Don't they say this is what happened?
Well, that's coming up, yeah. But I imagine what happened is some worker in there is probably doing a little bit too much sampling throughout the day. They're probably allowed for a free sample. They get a break. They could go probably have a little taste of bourbon. What do you think?
Maybe on break.
Maybe have a wild turkey, right?
I would imagine.
So my best guesstimate is what happened is Jimmy,
we always go with Jimmy,
has a couple too many. He ends up mixing a wild turkey bourbon with wild turkey rye.
Like a whole lot of it.
A whole lot of it. Enough that they were like, wow, what do we do now? You just mixed bourbon and rye together.
Jimmy, you screwed up, Jimmy. What are you doing, Jimmy?
But then there's some guys that don't, that like, knew it was coming. They're like, well, it was Jimmy.
That's
What'd
Jimmy.
you expect?
You put him in charge of vat
Put him
mixing.
in, yeah, you put him in charge
What
of
did you expect?
bottling.
Yeah, you don't give Jimmy any wild turkey before the mix.
Don't give that job.
You're going to end up with something.
Anymore.
But per the title, it sounds like they forgave Jimmy.
They forgive Jimmy because they end up, there was such a quantity of it, they're like, well, let's bottle it.
Well, I think they probably tasted it.
Market it, and let's see if it sells.
Right.
And
it's good.
it did.
Now you're going to notice one other thing.
Well,
sorry.
it sold so well, they made it again on purpose. This
Yes.
is the second batch.
Yes, it's rye and bourbon mixed together.
Yep.
We will spend time with this bottle before we do the review. We take notes so that we can actually spend a good hour, sometimes 2, with a bottle. So you'll see us refer off camera every once in a while. Again, we got several fans that have been watching us for over a year now. But if you see us looking down, we do take notes. We are open about taking notes, and I'll refer to my notes while we're talking. Hopefully.
Sometimes it takes Bart a while to find his notes.
Come on, don't even listen to him. I got the shirt. Oh, I wanted to take a sip. The nose on this is delicious.
You know, when I first smelled this, it smelled like a cologne to me. Like something you would wear, like you'd splash on going out.
I get hints of rye with baked sugar cookies. And that's what I get now. I get that rye cinnamon right here. And then I've got that sweetness. A sugar cookie sweetness.
Yep. And I think it's the sweetness that does it. But it literally smells like you could splash this on and go out.
I go for more of a wood cologne. I don't know what you've got going on there. You've got like aqua velvet.
I like wood.
Dirty. He's dirty. All right.
Little bit of acetone on the nose, not too bad though. But yeah, you do get that sweetness. You get a little bit of that rye in there. My expectations were low with this.
Really?
I didn't know what to expect.
Just because you're not a bourbon guy.
Right.
You're more Scotch.
Well, yeah, and you mix a rye with a bourbon. What do you get? But I was pleasantly surprised with it.
The nicest thing I get is it's got a subtle foretaste, but boy, the aftertaste is smooth and creamy. I love it. I've been getting more of a palate for creamy whiskeys lately because I usually go, for those that watch, I like heavily peated scotches. So I wasn't into the subtleties as much, but thanks to hanging out with Scott, I've definitely grown to appreciate that more. And that creamy aftertaste that's here is just that vanilla cream, and it's delicious.
Yep. That's what I get on my taste with it. Neat. I get a little bit of that sweetness. I get vanilla and a spiciness as well.
Right. The touch of water opens up for me some of the cream notes on the nose. I still get the rye, but the touch of water that goes in actually does release a little bit more of the aromas for me.
And I got that on the taste as well. I got a little bit more of the rye coming out once I added the water. The spiciness was still there, and it's almost like you can tell that bourbon from the rye. Like there's two different
Completely.
characteristics.
Yes, that's exactly what I get. With a touch of water, I get a spark from the rye, a spicy spark note. And then it completely almost transitions into that smooth bourbon flavor for me.
Just had it right there.
And rather than being lost together, there's almost this fine, nice, distinctive line.
It's like a dichotomy.
A dichotomy is there. I would call it a fine, distinctive line, but a dichotomy is good.
Yes, it's very distinct.
Yeah, because you're not, I mean, I have some ryes, and I usually go to a rye when I want that particular flavor, and it can be overpowering. It's extremely strong, and to see it blended in such a way that the subtleties of the bourbon are still preserved and present is phenomenal. So Jimmy, I'm glad you made a mistake.
That's right.
We're assuming,
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah, we're assuming you were sampling too much of the wild turkey product.
Yeah.
But we like what came from it.
Jimmy's on his 8th break today.
Yeah, what's Jimmy doing over there mixing on his own?
You only get 2 by union rules.
Yeah, what are you doing breaking, Jimmy? What are you doing? Hey, hey, can I mix this with that? No, Jimmy, no. So if you, if you're a bourbon fan, you probably already know this. Maybe you've had it, or maybe you avoided it because of the rye that's in there. Don't go try it. If you're just a Scotch person, you want to go out and give this a shot. I do want to say one thing. The clear plastic cover seal on this
gave you some problems.
It was a bitch. Okay, I'm just saying it out. It made me mad. I couldn't get it off. It was in my notes. I couldn't get it off. It's got this beautiful cap, and I'm getting it, and then it's kind of gouging me, and then I'm tearing it, and I'm like, gosh darn it, man, this is like dummy proof. I can't get to the bottle. What are you doing? It's like Jimmy made this thing and said, put it on there. They'll get frustrated. They won't even drink the bottle. I don't know what to tell you. Give me a zip tie. I'm used to my Scotch zip tie where you just grab it and zip and you're off. This thing was killing me. I almost got a knife, but I was afraid I'd cut myself. That's all I'm saying. That's the only negative I got for the Wild Turkey Forgiven is the seal. No opinion?
I didn't open it, so I don't know, but
all right.
It's not the first one you'd have.
I would like to give a mark on this, but I know you were hesitant to put a mark on it because of your bourbon skills.
Right.
I want to put a mark on it. I don't know if you want to mark it at all. I'm giving it an 88. I like it. I love that, as you put it, the dichotomy between the rye and the bourbon and the clear distinction within the one single drink. That bumps it to the 88. I like complexities in my whiskeys. I oftentimes don't get those in bourbons, and I definitely have it here. Do you want to throw a mark on there at all, or
no.
let my mark stand alone?
I'll let your mark stand alone.
I'm
going to wait.
88
I'm going to wait till I start marking, but it's good. I would buy it again.
Do me a favor, in the comments, if you want to hear Scott's malt marks, even if he thinks he doesn't know much about bourbon, which is what I want, throw it in there. If you think, hey, Scott's free to do whatever he wants, do that. Abe Lincoln, man, he's all about
freedom. Cilantro.
Cilantro, dummies. Enjoy this. See you guys later.
And that is the Scottish. Cheers.
Yeah.
Jimmy was probably imbibing a little too much.
Jimmy, yeah, you were going off, man. You had a whole background story on Jimmy. He had a wife, 2 kids.